So for this project, I started with a 5 by 6 inch silicone pumpkin mold that I picked up on Amazon. Now you can get them on Amazon for $6.99, or you can get it on TEMU for $2.98. So it's a considerable savings. It just depends on whether you want it tomorrow or in 2 weeks. I sprayed it with the mold release spray after I had cleaned it up with some paper tape. I mixed up my resin. The resin I'm using for this project is craft resin, creative liquid, 24-hour curing time, no VOCs. After I have it all mixed up, I let it sit for about 15 minutes to let the bubbles come to the top, and some of them will dissipate. Then I took a orange mica powder that I had just purchased on Amazon. It's by Eye Candy, and it's a very pretty pumpkin orange, and I mix it in with the resin. So I decided I want a green stem, and I decided to do it with UV resin, which I think was a mistake because, as I've told you before, with UV resin it has to be semi-transparent for it to be able to cure with the UV light. And the mistake I made was made a dark green stem that was not transparent. So in the end, the top part of it cured. Well, you'll see what happened when I take it out of the mold. So anyway, I put it under the UV light, and UV resin under the right circumstances will set completely, usually within a minute. And then I take the orange resin and pour it in the mold. I use the torch lightly to get rid of the bubbles, and then I let this cure overnight. You have to be really careful with the heat gun or with torches when you're using molds, because you could melt the mold to the resin. So the next day I take it out of the mold, and you can see that some of the green is still in the mold, and that's the UV resin that didn't set. And the top of that stem, even though if I didn't tell you, you probably wouldn't know, the top of that stem is actually wet with the UV resin. So I have to stick it back under the light because that part was not hit by the UV light. So next I take my metallic gold marker. This is a metallic oil-based marker, and it is so pretty, and I go ahead and I draw the lines. Now, a lot of people will take the mica powder and go over all those lines and then pour the resin on top, and that is literally a pain in the butt. This is so much easier to just go over it with the metallic marker the next day. For the tendrils for the pumpkins, I actually ended up using a piece of black 24 gauge wire. I bent it in half, cut it in half, and then took it and wrapped it around a pen, and then took out a piece of painter's tape and stuck each of the tendrils to the painter's tape and sprayed it with gold spray paint. This helps to hold it in place. So I had this plastic photo frame that I had picked up at the Dollar Tree, and they have them in all different sizes, and I just went ahead and put it on top of this bottle so that it would be level. And then I mixed up my resin prior to this. The resin I'm using for this project, again, is the craft resin creative liquid. It's the same as I used for the pumpkin mold, and I just went ahead and I poured it on top of the plastic, and I spread it out because I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use it as a glue to stick my pumpkin, orange pumpkin, to the plastic. And as you can see, it was kind of a foggy plastic, but when you put the resin on, it becomes clear. So I'm real happy with that. Then I take my orange pumpkin and I stick it on there, and then I take a little more resin and spread that on the top of the pumpkin very lightly, just spread it out. And then I take my Ashland decorative filler. This is the glass that I call gold, but if you go to look it up online at Michael's, it's actually called yellow. This only comes out at the holidays. It's in the stores now, and then it goes away. So I suggest if you're at all interested in it, go get it, because I have done so many projects with this. I've done the reindeer, the gingerbread men. I've used it over and over and over again. And like I said, you can't find it any other time during the year except for right now. The glass I'm putting at the bottom now is called Mosaic Accents. You can find that up at Hobby Lobby, back by where you find the stained glass at the very back of the store. Next, I take some green seed beads and sprinkle those down at the bottom. And then I get my glass for the leaves. This is glass I picked up at garage sales and thrift stores, tumbled in my tumbler. And I use two of the pieces for the leaves. And then I also put the tendrils on that I had made earlier. I also took some gold seed beads and sprinkled those down at the very bottom. So this has to sit on a flat level surface overnight at temperatures between 72 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It's in your best interest to cover it with a dust cover. I do use the kitchen torch to get rid of some of the bubbles, and it's pretty much done. And then when I thought I was done, I decided I hated the stem. so, so I decided I was going to get that green glass out of there. I took my heat gun and I heated it up, and I did one piece at a time. You have to be real careful. Don't touch it with your hand. You can burn your hand. Just go over it with the heat gun, and you can pop, I popped those right out of there. Then, after searching for about 10 minutes, I found a piece of amber tumbled glass out of my collection there that I liked for the stem. What I did was I took some UV resin and I put it at 2 points where the glass touches the pumpkin stem there. And I did not want to put the resin on top because then it would be translucent and you would see the green stem underneath. So I just wanted to put it underneath the piece of amber tumbled glass that I had. I hope that makes sense. And I put it on, and then I immediately put it under the light. And it took like a minute for it to set. Oh wow, and now I feel like the leaves should be down further. Oh well, it is what it is.
Hey everyone. So this was a super easy project. And towards the end, when I was showing you how I popped the glass back off before I put this piece of tumbled glass on, it is not that hard. You just have to be careful that you don't burn yourself or ruin the project that you're working on. And a lot of times we use that heat to get the little drips off the back of a canvas. So, it can be done. So anyway, super easy. This mold is actually sold on Amazon as well as TEMU. And the difference is the price and the time of delivery. So it was, I think, $2.98 on TEMU, and on Amazon it was $6 something. So just depends on whether you want to get it tomorrow or in 2 weeks. So it's a cute little mold, and if you look on TEMU, you can see I bought them on both sites, but they also have a clear one that I thought it showed it as being a little bit different in size from the blue one, so I bought both of them, but don't let it fool you, they're both the same size. So anyway, and I thought this was so cool, this little stand, from the Dollar Tree, and they had them in like 3 different sizes. I had another one, I don't know what I did with it, but it can sit like this or like this, but I just thought it would be so cool for like those of you who do crafting, or those of you who do sales, you got your own little stand with it, because usually the holiday items, you don't really need I'm almost thinking you don't need a little hook on the back, because I don't know who would hang up a holiday item that you're going to take down. Usually they're just leaners. But anyway, I just thought that was a real cute idea. Of course, you could do that on anything. And as far as molds go, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure those of you who've used molds before know that when you look for a mold with the resin and you see that it's shiny, when you pull the resin out of it, it will be shiny. But if there are molds that are matte finish, and when you pull it out, it'll be matte. And if you're putting it on something or going to be pouring resin over it anyway, like I did with this, it doesn't matter because the resin will make it shiny again. But I wanted to show you another. So this is another mold that I got on TEMU, and they do not have it on Amazon. This is let me show you the difference in size. So it's a bit bigger. This one is about 8 by 8, and I have a couple projects coming up with that, a couple videos coming up. And this is kind of cool. This is shiny inside, but I end up putting resin over all my stuff anyway. And another place that you can pick up molds is like in the baking section of some of the stores, sometimes Hobby Lobby, TJ Maxx, Michael's. Anyway, so this was a couple that I think I picked these up at Home Goods. These are little pumpkins. Aren't those cute? And those are shiny on the inside, and they're all different sizes, which is kind of neat. And then this is another one. These were I have no idea what I'm going to do with these, but acorns and leaves. And I guess they're actually candy molds, or I guess you could put dough in, or like cupcakes or something you could make out of them. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you enjoy the channel, go ahead and subscribe. We have our Facebook group going on now. Great place to ask questions. I'm learning a lot. A lot of the ladies are learning a lot. All different levels of resin use, beginners. Some have been doing it for years. Some have never used resin and are glass artists though, and they are do like mosaics and have never used resin. So just all sorts of people. Anyway, so like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.